I'm Linda Watson with Cook for Good. I'm here today in the Community Food Security Coalition headquarters with Executive Director Andy Fisher, and we are going to talk a little bit about the coalition. Andy, tell me what the goal of the coalition is.
Sure. Our organization's about promoting healthy food, access to healthy food for all persons, and about supporting local food systems, about making those connections between farmers and consumers.
Fantastic. And you have how many groups in your coalition?
We have about 300 organizations that are members in almost every state of the country.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Tell me about maybe an unusual member of your organization.
Some of the probably more unusual members would be groups that are working on Indian reservations.
Oh, that's great.
There's an awful lot of problems in Indian country in the sense of high diabetes rates, very poor access to food. A lot of cultural skills have been eroded in terms of agriculture, and there are groups such as in the Tohono O'odham on the Tohono O'odham Reservation, right along the border with Mexico and Arizona, where they're basically recreating their native food systems. They're teaching people about how to farm and how to grow and what to do with some of the traditional plants that they've lost the knowledge of over the years.
That's great. So, Andy, I understand that you're interested in culturally appropriate foods.
Yeah, I think the point behind food, one of the points behind food security is that different cultures eat different foods. I mean, it's kind of an obvious thing. So it's about folks having access to the foods that they like and that they culturally accept and know.
That's great. That's great. Do you work with food skills for the non-farmers as well? So cooking and things like that?
Our organization doesn't, but a lot of our members do. There's a great project at the Sustainable Food Center in Austin, Texas, called La Cocina Alegre, or the Happy Kitchen, which works with low-income Latina moms on how to do healthy cooking.
That's fantastic. Tell me about some of the policy work you do. I understand you do policy and then implementation of the policy.
Sure. One of the things we're working on right now is the Child Nutrition Act. And the Child Nutrition Act is the main piece of legislation that passes every 5 years that authorizes school lunch, school breakfast, and the WIC program. So currently we're working on a bill that would start up a farm-to-school seed grant fund. So schools could apply to this program for up to $100,000 to offset the cost of equipment and labor to be able to buy from local farmers as a way to improve the quality of the school meals and also to get more money into the pockets of the farmers.
That's fantastic. Tell me, if you could have somebody who's watching this video do anything, what would you advise them to do to help out your mission?
I think there's two things, actually. One is to think about your role as a food consumer and how can you shorten the food chain from farm to table. How can you think about ways you can buy local. You can go to shop at a farmer's market or go to a farm stand or cook more than you used to, as well as grow your own. Maybe you have a little bit of space in your backyard or you have some some pots you can put on your balcony to grow a few tomatoes or a few cucumbers or whatever food you like. So you know a little bit more about how food is produced and you can control a little bit more about where your food comes from. So that's the consumer part of it. The second part of it is really to think of yourself as a food citizen. So to be engaged with your children's schools, with the grocery store you go to, and push them to include healthy food and push them to be a little bit more accountable as to where the food is coming from and how it's being produced. And to inform yourself as well about the sources of your food, who your farmer is, as well as how it's being grown.
That's fantastic. Well, for more information, where would people find that?
For our organization, it's foodsecurity.org is the website. So that's probably the best place to send you.
Very good. It's a pleasure being here today, and I really thank you. That's Andy Fisher with the Community Food Security Coalition. I'm Linda Watson with Cook for Good. Have a delicious day.